it looks like Project NICOLANDRIA is a go. I wasn't sure. But by the end of the episode, I'm kind of sold, real or fake. I want them to take it all the way and take it to the final because I think that they could win. Alandria, I just need you to get with the program. Please. Please. So obviously we're left on the plot twist. Initially we thought that Nick and Alandria were going to be left single and dumped. Then we see them going to this dinner and I was like, oh, what is this? They're on a date, they're spilling the tea, the cast of tea, and then they get a text basically saying they can either remain single and go home or they can couple up and go to the main villa. This was actually one of my predictions. I think I probably would have preferred them to have some like alone time at a third separate villa and then make a surprise return. But this, I wasn't entirely mad at. Them getting coupled up, I kind of knew it was going to happen. But one thing I was thinking is, you know, if they had to choose which villa to send them back to, I was just thinking which one will be better for them as a couple, because if they send them back to the main villa, Taylor's still there, and of course Alandria is just hung up on Taylor. Like, she's very much like, Taylor is my man, my man, my man. But literally before that conversation, or just after, I can't remember when, but in close proximity to this decision, we see Taylor kissing Clark. He's still doing the family kiss that he's doing with Alandria, which still makes me believe that yes, he's got this girlfriend on the outside that he's waiting for. But, you know, they did about 2 family kisses and then Clark went in for more and he didn't really resist. So, you know, he's definitely giving Clark more physically. I don't know whether he's more physically attracted to Clark. It seems like that's what Nick was trying to allude, that there was more of a physical attraction with Clark than there was Alandria. Obviously, they're both black, but Clark is of a lighter complexion. And, you know, like I said, like I've been saying, the rumored girlfriend is to be white. So, you know, maybe it's just like, you know, the closer he can get to white, the better he feels. It's just a theory. But it seems like Alandria still wants Taylor. She comes back into the house now. It's a little bit awkward with the cast of girls. And she keeps talking about, obviously, you know, it's such a crazy experience because they're telling me that I'm single, but I'm not single. I have my man. Then, you know, and Clark's just in the corner, still has the saliva on her lips. Even when they snuck back into the villa and did a surprise, oh my God, we're here. Taylor, he jumps up and I think he goes to Nick first. It's kind of awkward because obviously he's just shared a bed with Alandria and Alandria definitely peeped that. And he's thinking, you know, he can come and be free without Alandria watching, right? Or knowing what's going on. And just in the day, he was just basically avoiding her. He went to speak to Clark first. And I would feel like if you guys had such a great connection, surely he would be wanting to go to you first to clear some stuff up, see where your head is at, etc. He kind of just didn't really want to go to Alandria. And I feel like that pretty much says it all. I'm not sure why Alandria was still very much like, this is my man, and we're seeing the conduct. This is somebody who's not interested in you, and this is somebody who's not making you their priority. Taylor has been honest, and I guess he's kind of been honest this whole time, but it's just giving low effort, low energy, and he's basically saying, you know, I want to be transparent with you, I have a thing with Clark, and I want to explore both of you kind of at the same time, and I will keep you in the loop. But it seems like he's dedicating most of his time to Clark, despite saying he was going to be juggling both of you. And Alandria is still like, my man. It's given very much, well, he knows where home is. Maybe he's just getting immersed in this experience. So now I'm just thinking, Alandria, not you being saved and you wasting my time. You're wasting your beauty and you're wasting my time because I want to root for you, Alandria. Nick, he's here to play the role. He immediately locked in. He's like, you know what? You're my queen. You know, we've always been close with each other and we're always like choosing to kiss each other in challenges. And, you know, I'm interested to exploring with you. I want to show you my mature side, blah, blah, blah. Nick, he's playing his role. The men know how to play that role. But Alandria, she wants to be a lover girl for this foo-foo boy Taylor who's giving her nothing. Why? So at this point in the episode, I'm just thinking like, I'm kind of done with you, Alandria. Like, I wash my hands with you. We see them doing the little challenge that they do every Casa Amor, this villa versus the other villa, and they've upped the ante by saying you guys have to kiss if you like suit this question, like tallest boy, shortest girl, kiss or whatever. You guys have to do it, and you guys are in competition of who has the most passionate kiss. So, you know, people can't get away with doing like pets and stuff like that. People will have to really go for it, and people were going for it. I think we saw about 2 or 3 kisses with Nick and Alandria. We didn't really see them well, but we did see a kiss with Taylor and Clark within that challenge. And Alandria is putting her hand in her face, saying she can't watch. Like, it's just really hard. Like, she can't wait for Clark to leave. She can't wait for Clark to leave so she could be with her man. And it's just like, you see how Taylor just don't give a fuck. You see how Taylor's locked in and he's on job and he's with the program. You be on the program as well. Lock in with Nick. Immerse with Nick. And I was just like, Alandria, please. Then we see, basically, at the end of the episode, we see Nick and Alandria as a couple having a conversation in Soul Ties. And then we see Sierra and Elan having a conversation in their villa as well. I'm not sure if they're in Soul Ties, but they're having a conversation. And basically, Elan is basically testing the temperature, right? To see if he can get a kiss outside the challenge. We know that Sierra is kind of the fun, cool girl, right? And I thought if there was anyone in a solid couple that might have a kiss outside of a challenge, I thought potentially it could be her. She said she has chemistry with Elan. She says that they have an emotional connection. So I thought that they would have a kiss. Then he basically outright asked her, can I get a kiss? And Sierra's basically like, no, she's not really ready for that. And then in the confessional, she basically says she wants to explore this connection without cuddling, without kissing. So she's very much locked in with Nick. And I was just kind of thinking, like, out of like all of the places for Alandria and Nick to go, where would they flourish best? Like, would it have been better to put her in the villa with Sierra? I don't know. And then when Sierra basically locked it off, I was just kind of like, maybe it's better that she's in the other villa, because if we are going to go with this NICOLANDRIA agenda, maybe it would be better for her not to have to see Sierra. But obviously, Alandria is coming back into the villa on the assumption that Sierra has this really good connection with Elan. He's attractive. They're physically attracted to each other. And based on what we see, you know, when Nick is exploring, when Nick is open, Sierra is basically like, well, I'm going to make myself open now. So if I was Alandria, I would probably think maybe they might have like a kiss or something outside of the challenge, right? Obviously, there's a bit of conflict there because Sierra is her homegirl, but I feel like in her mind, Alandria's probably thinking she's probably exploring with somebody else physically. And I think Nick is probably assuming that about Alandria as well, because he's probably thinking, she probably thinks I'm doing it, so she's probably doing it. I think they're both thinking that. But after Sierra and Elan have the conversation and Sierra basically rebuffs his advances, we see Alandria and Nick is basically saying like, you know, should we test out having a kiss outside the challenge? And at this point, Alandria has been my man this whole episode. And after we see Sierra basically reject Elan, I'm thinking it's going to be a rejection as well, because Alandria is my man about Taylor, and she's also good friends with Sierra. But they kissed, and it was a good kiss. It was a really good kiss. They were both going for it. And I was like, okay, Alandra's finally arrived. Alandria is finally here to join the game for real. And I was thinking, yes, finally, Alandria is clocking in. Obviously, Nick is always on job. And you know what? I'm here for NICOLANDRIA. I always thought that the fans were a bit delusional, but the producers are giving the fans what they want. And I feel like maybe this is the push that they needed. I feel like it's likely for them to go back to their original partners. But if they do stick it out, I think if they were to actually become an official couple, I think they would win the show. But the thing is, I do love my girl Sierra, and I did kind of like Nick and Sierra together. But, you know, Nick kind of playing games a little bit. It was just kind of like, I know that Sierra's not Nick's type and he's going to play when they get outside. Would it probably be the same with Alandria? Probably. But I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of on the Alandria train, the NICOLANDRIA train now. I see the vision. But are we supporting this? Will it last? Could they win it? Let me know.